So right now, I'm playing my most favorite game, and I'm very happy that it came back. Scott Pilgrim versus the World. Um, Sadly right now, most people can't really, how would you call it, pass this one level where you go against this dude named, Todd. I think he's the third evil X of Ramona Flowers, which is the one all the way at the right. And, this is actually pretty funny. The original Scott Pilgrim release for the PS3 and Xbox 360, it didn't have this bug where it crashed after you defeat Todd, but this one it does. So I'm really hoping they really do fix this, because it really hinders and slows down everything about Scott Pilgrim. Yeah, but for right now, I'm gonna see how long it lasts this time around. Yeah, Scott Pilgrim, this game is actually inspired by the movie, but of course the comics itself. I think mostly the video game counterpart actually has more to do with the comics than with some of the movie. Don't get me wrong, the movie is pretty much almost on par. But with this, it's almost, with the video game, it's, like a mix of both. Because the movie did its own thing. It did change a few things, but it also made a few things a lot, smaller to fit, in a movie. However, I still like the movie. And don't get me wrong, I haven't read all the graphic novels. I shouldn't really call it a comic, but at the same time, at the end of the day, it's kind of like a comic. Yeah, I think last time I lasted for almost I'm not really too sure. I think 6 minutes. But mostly because, I'm trying to take down them. I would have lasted a lot longer if I just, stayed blocking. But what's the fun behind that? Anyways, I'm not really gonna play this mode forever. I'm actually gonna go back to the main story again and just go through the same old levels I've been doing this whole entire time until they fix the game, which I'm not sure when that's gonna be. However, though, I always like this mode because it always gets me a bit warmed up. Actually, funniest part is that Scott Pilgrim. I actually used him a lot during the whole craze with me and Scott Pilgrim when I first found out about it. And it's mostly from. Well, yeah, of course, I was introduced to it because of the movie. Because it was actually funny, it was actually pretty interesting and all of that. And then I finally got introduced to the comics that started it all. My bad, graphic novels, but still. And I haven't I never realized what I was missing out on. I was missing out on a holy grail, something pretty funny actually. Something, pretty new, but the funniest part is I can actually really relate because many of events actually happen in the Scott Pilgrim world. Actually really did happen to me. Of course, not the whole how would you call it? Not the whole arcade fighting and battling machines or any of that. No, just mostly relationship struggles. And I find it so funny. But also, not only that, but a bit during the time of identity crisis, I guess you could say. And if I'm not mistaken, if I remember correctly, Scott actually had a little bit of a problem with that as well. Especially, he was still trying to find out whether he's if I remember this correctly, if he's a good guy and what he was doing was right or was it wrong, many stuff like that, and that's why I really like the comic. But also because it was just funny as hell. Now, as I said, I haven't read all of the books, so I'm not really too sure if this whole zombie thing did take place. I'm pretty sure it really did, though, in the comics. I'm not sure of when or why, but how they're dressed up kind of reminds me more of Prom. It might have been one of his bad dreams or something, I'm not sure. And 100%, I hate playing online. There's just like so many idiots. Like, it's kind of bewildering. They're just, in the air, just hitting around. And then they stay in the corner and start hitting, so I think, oh, they want to go that way. No. No, they just stay there. Don't know why. Now, one thing I have always, well, not always, but I have realized from older Ubisoft games, it's about the whole counter attack with most of their games. It's always a bit odd. You never have a clear indication of when they're gonna attack or when it's the right time, because when you think it's the right time, right before they hit you, apparently it's the wrong time. And I really never understand that. Great example of that is like Assassin's Creed 1 and 2, mostly. Like, I never had a problem with that with the third, but I think that's when they actually start fixing some things. You see, like, whenever I hit them, and then a counter, I just never know when it's the right time. To me, it just really seems more like lucky accident. But I really love what they've done with this game. Especially with the combat. I still love it. Even if there's still a bit of flaws, but you know, it's still fun. Like this. And as you can see, yeah, I am a lot of a higher level, but sometimes it kind of doesn't matter. Because you can still go down pretty fast in this game, actually. Yeah, I really rather go through this where I hate the snowball fight. Now, one thing I always had a problem with is knowing exactly where they are on a spot. I think it had the same exact problem with that with the Streets of Rage. I think that's what that was called. Yeah, Streets of Street of Rage. Oh, great. Well, that kind of still worked in my favor, I guess. Took a lot of damage, though. It's the most funniest thing, because I am happy that they brought back online. But however, I'm just a bit sad that, you know, there's just so much idiots playing. That's why I only play with my brothers, because they know how to play. You see, that's the problem I always had. right before they hit you, I do press circle, and yet it really doesn't do anything. So you really just gotta guess, especially what I just did. Because you can also grab objects too, but you really gotta guess when to push the circle. See, because with the brown codes, they mostly run at you. And how are you supposed to know when to counter that? They run right in the middle. Right before they get you. Then you press circle. That's the only way how I know how to counter those kind of enemies. This me and my brother found out, me and my little brother, when we were playing the original release, you know, about this little secret area. That's weird. It shows them, you know, basic pooing, and yet they're still alive. I'm not sure if that's a new glitch now. I swear, the more and more I play, the more and more I'm starting to realize that they kind of did a crappy job bringing this back. Yet again, though, if you look at their Assassin's Creed, you know, Exio collection, which I have, that's a pretty piss poor remaster, if they want to call it. I don't really care. It's not even a remaster. It's just a port, a PC port, because clearly you can tell that it's not from the PS3 or anything, you know, because of the more of the anti-aliasing and all that. It looks more from the PC, just with a bit of higher settings. Not all the way high, I'm pretty sure, but still. But the lighting it's crap. Not only that, how do you mess up a game that you already made patches for and everything, and re-release it for a newer console? It's supposed to be a bit more powerful, and yet it runs even worse. I don't understand. I really always jumped over that. And all we'll just get from him is just $1. Now, the story behind that evil ex-boyfriend is that, it's funny because Ramona and him weren't really even together to begin with. And, you know, they just have a mutual understanding, and that's kind of about it, even though she had a little bit of a thing for him. But that went away pretty fast. Like, extremely fast. Yeah, but you know what? Let me show you what I mean. Like, exactly at this level. It's probably gonna crash and everything. I'm not sure what it will do to the broadcast. Yeah, but as the title says, you know, Scott Pilgrim versus the Crash, and that's what's about to happen. Now, there's a little trick that I do remember originally, that I do most of the time, because in all honesty, I hate going against the lady with the robot arm. Even some of these enemies are kind of broken. They don't really like them in the original. I always like these objects, kind of like juggling. I always thought that was actually pretty cool. It's always pretty fun, actually. I just gotta choke it. Last line. See, those with purple hair, I hate them the most. Of course that guy with the red head isn't dead. Now, here comes the boss fights. It does take a bit of a while. There we go. Now the reason why I'm going after her because it's actually a very good way how to finish this fight pretty fast. There we go. Because the one with the robotic arm is always the hardest, but you can just beat her up and there we go. You can just skip through all that. Now, this is actually the first time I have ever been punched a lot by the robotic arm girl. Because I always try my best to avoid it. This time around, I didn't avoid it at all. Now this is Todd. This is where the game mostly crashes most of the time. Now this is where it's gonna crash.